The 1960s were a time of many changes in America. Like an adolescent child, it sprouted up reaching for the stars. By the end of the decade, it had reached the summit challenge set forth to itself. Man had made it to the moon. An American man. The men chosen for this task needed the right stuff. The grit and tenacity to mount the challenge like a fertile buck. They were cut from cloth of steel and forged in the fires of bravery. They were not just men, they were astronauts. Former Navy officer, engineer, aviator, test pilot, command pilot of Gemini 8 and Eagle Scout Neil Armstrong was the stoic, if reluctant hero selected to be commander of Apollo 11. Michael Collins, a test pilot and veteran of Gemini 10, was a natural choice for command module pilot. Also a veteran of the Gemini program, the task of lunar module pilot would fall on Buzz Aldrin, who was also available for the mission.
It was a great crew. Yeah, just the best of the best. Neil, Michael, and Buzz. Buzz was
When I first met Buzz, he seemed, underwhelmed. Which was confusing because, we were all pretty dang excited. What an honor to partake in this mission. I went up to Buzz, I went up to him and I said, Buzz, aren't you excited? And he looked at me like he was confused, like, how could I ask this question? Then he just looked at me in the eyes and he says, hell, I've been to Tallahassee before. I guess he used to go to a casino or something called Moon River down there, and he thought that's where we were going. I said, Buzz, do you see that? Do you see that, Buzz? That's the moon, and that's where we're going. And he said, no crap. And then he just cracked a rolling rock with one hand.
As training commenced, expectations mounted. The three men spent hours on end learning the ins and outs of the vessel and procedures that would bear them to the moon.
Look, training for any kind of spaceflight is not easy. Any minute miscalculation can mean certain death. And if that wasn't enough, we had to deal with Buzz.
During a training simulation, Collins made a minor error that would have killed him had it been the real mission. But it was his first time and it was to be expected. That's why we train. But Michael, he was a perfectionist. So after he was done beating himself up, he turned to the boys and he said, sorry fellas, I pulled a major boner up there. When Buzz heard him say, pulled a major boner, he laughed for 3 minutes straight, right in his face.
It's taken me years to convince him my name's not Michael, Boner.
And not to give the devil his due, but I've never seen anyone withstand the gravity and disorientation tests quite like Buzz. Michael threw up, Neil actually passed out, but Buzz got off, cracked a rolling rock with one hand, and asked where he needed to buy tickets for the next ride.
As training progressed, the stress of the task at hand began to chip away at the Apollo 11 team.
The first blow-up I remember was about Buzz, of course, when he was being fitted for his spacesuit. Couldn't seem to understand that he had to wear it, and couldn't bring his leather jacket.
Or his motorcycle.
We all explained to him that we had to meticulously account for its weight and its placement, and there just wasn't room.
Yeah, and he's just yelling about how he can't bring his leather jacket or his hog. He was like, I want to ride my hog around on the moon, and Boner's coming.
When he realized he had said, Boner's coming, he laughed for literally 5 minutes.
As the launch approached, nerves were on edge. The world was looking on. Houston and Mission Control scrambled to cross every I and dot every T. The star-trekking trio made final preparations to vault to the heavens on a chariot of fire and cast asunder the demigod Uranus, claiming the moon's face for themselves and for all of us.
Everyone was nervous. The day had come. After months and months of training, it was finally launch day. But...
Houston, this is flight control. Go ahead, flight. Everything go for launch? Yeah, well, we got a bit of a problem, Houston. We're not reading any anomalies, flight. No, everything's all right with the rocket. It's, it's Buzz. Oh. What's the issue? Well, it looks like he might have misread the itinerary. He misread it? Yeah, he misread it. We all stood up this morning for launch day, and he rolled up in, the van. Well, I think it's more of a hearse, actually, but it was full of several pies, a cobbler, whole mess of potato salad, and, what he's calling surprise brisket, cause he thought it said lunch day. Wow. He really misread it? Well, he said he skimmed it. Skimmed it? It's 2 words. Yeah, we've been dealing with all sorts of issues since Aldrin got back in Florida. Should we abort? Well, he did cater this. Alright. Well, and hold on now. Hey, Joey! Hey, what flavor's that cobbler back there? A peach? Well, and it's a peach cobbler, too, NASA. Can't we push it a day? Well, just tell him we'll go after dessert. Roger, Houston.
The world was watching. The stage set.
10, 9, 8,
The space curtain was preparing to ascend.
7, 6, 5.
In a few short seconds, 3 brave souls would shatter the glass ceiling of the stratosphere,
4, 3,
fording the rivers of time to drink the sweet waters of immortality.
2, 1. Well, we have to
All right. Let's put the spaghetti in the machine now, boys. Jerry, you let all these assholes into my house? I'm playing with you. Hey, you look like the type of man that could use a suit. And if that's the case, I know a guy fell off the back of a truck. Well, not the suit, but the guy, you know. He didn't make it. Took it right off of him. Now, I ain't saying I'm a grave robber. Hey, you wasn't using it no more. Oh, that's better.
Next time on Dark Side of the Moon, the astronauts ride the steed of history to their throne in the great beyond.
Brother, I tell you, when that rocket fires up, it'd kick you so hard you'd think you was a hairdresser.
Eagle, we have elevated CO2 levels here. Everything okay up there? Yeah, roger that, Houston. That's just Buzz. He's smoking again. Blowing it up the urinal hose. Copy that, Eagle. You say he's smoking again? Roger, that's affirmative. Over, you f***ing narc!
As the 3 men hurtled towards destiny, they did their best to maintain the peace in the tiny quarters they shared with each other, and in many ways, the rest of mankind.
Yeah, Buzz was smoking up there, if you can believe it. Every couple of hours or so, he'd light up another menthol cool, whereas he'd say, I'm gonna smoke what I am.
He'd float around and just blow smoke. Sometimes right in your face, you know, because there wasn't a ton of room in there.
Yep, we always had an open line to them, and I think it was about 3 in the morning in Houston, and I heard Buzz talking to, I think, Michael, about... I'm not really sure I can say what I heard.
Yeah, Buzz told me that if I found any moon men and was holding out on him, he'd put a cigarette out on my dick.
Look, I told my motorcycle buddy Clarence I'd bring him back a moon man, and here is why. We were pontooning around the Keys, right? And I bet him 30 bones I could whip my shorts off, streak the beach, right? and haul ass back to the boat before the pigs caught a sniff. On the way back to the boat, I stepped on a jellyfish. I'm going ass over tits. I must have drank down about a gallon and a half of seawater before Clarence hauled me back up. I almost died.
I just don't think Buzz fully understood the constraints he'd be under living in that module for 8 days.
At one point, Buzz had joined 2 screwdrivers together with a bit of wire. He was swinging them around saying he was practicing his nunchucks, and if he ran into any moon men, he was going to take them to, his city.
I probably just, get one of these. Just right there in the bread basket, or, maybe one of them. Right in the upper occipital protuberance. You know where that is, boys? That's your heart. That'll put anybody down. This little kid, all of 10, knocked my dick in the dirt with one of them. Me and Clarence was in the Forbidden City. It wasn't the one in China. It was the one in Cincinnati. We got any more of these?
After 4 grueling days, the Apollo 11 crew locked into lunar orbit. As they began preparations for their final descent, Armstrong, the leader and natural peacemaker, helped smooth out some final details.
So yeah, Michael was supposed to land with us, but right as we prepped for descent, I asked him if he was excited to stretch his legs on the moon. And he said,
Nah, I'm good.
With the impending approach to the lunar surface, the gravity of the situation was not lost on the crew, and they spent the final moments before separation in contemplation.
Hey, Boner. Everything all right, Buzz? Hey, between you and me, I think Neil's working for the government. Yeah, Buzz, we all are. Got that on tape, you f***ing narc. Commencing separation?
As I watched the lander drift away, I thought about the time I'd be spending on the dark side of the moon. I knew I'd probably be the loneliest man in history. Not since Adam has man known such solitude. It's the best part of the trip.
You don't know lonely until you spent a 4-day weekend all f***ed up on Tribic in a cemetery.
Aldrin and Armstrong descended to lunar surface and into the history books as they would be the first mortal beings in the known universe to step foot on a celestial body they were not born on.
words can't really describe the feeling Buzz and I shared up there. It was truly dizzying, and I know that Buzz felt the same.
Yeah. I was totally zooted up there.
Buzz piloting the lander to the surface was scary, but he did a surprisingly great job. Nice, gentle touchdown and everything.
Look, it ain't that much different than landing your crop duster with about half a snoot full and a bad tailwind.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
But despite the successful landing, tensions were still running high.
Yeah, I guess a lot of people don't know that. Before takeoff, Buzz and I had a bit of a tiff over who could exit first.
I mean, the whole thing was figured out beforehand by Mission Control. Neil would go first, and Buzz would... I wasn't surprised by anything at this point.
Well, I told Buzz he could go number 2 because he's the shit.
So anyway, I decided, being the bigger man, that I wasn't going to go crawling all over Neil. You know, I'd let him get off first, and then I could just bring up the rear. Damn it, I forgot to feed the bear.
Neil was a professional. He rehearsed that landing speech for hours, even worked on it with some Nobel laureates. He wanted something that was brief but profound, direct but open to interpretation.
I think Buzz submitted a few drafts. I don't really know what they were. I was just really focusing on getting everything right.
The moon. This one's for Clarence. We come in pies. I'm pretty sure he meant to say peace.
Yeah, that was a goof on my part. I meant we come with pies. Well, hell, I brought the shit digger's cart full of them. You know, pies and cobbler. The brisket went quick, though. Neil, all over it. I even tried to call him Mr. Brisket for a while, but didn't take it.
We kept the broadcast on a 17-second delay.
In fact, the real audio of the speech itself tells a story different from what you may remember.
That's one small step forward. Hey, Brisket! I think I fixed my hose in this zipper. Am I bleeding? Where'd you go? Man. One giant leap for mankind.
It was supposed to be perfect, flawless. It had been rehearsed 1,000 times. Then it was Buzz's turn.
I am the very model of modern Major General. Hey, this Buzz Aldrin. Oh, hold on. Hey, Neil. You know if we can dump in these jumpers, I need to know where the commode is. Stat.
Historic.
Of course you can't dump in those jumpers.
Can't you hold it, Buzz? What the hell? No, it's the first piss call we've taken on this haul. I'm about to blow apart the seams. Buzz, just Neil, this is not a dry run. Look where we are. Yeah, about 10 miles past Shit City, near as I can tell. Listen, I got a whole roast in the oven that's ready for the table. Oh, Buzz, for the love of God. Just look at this. We're on the moon. Isn't it magnificent desolation? We are about to see some magnificent defecation.
Thank Christ Almighty for that broadcast delay. All told, we dumped over 75 minutes of footage from the lunar surface.
The public was little aware of the antics Aldrin and Armstrong got up to on our highest peak.
Buzz claimed our landing site as property of Fist City. He kept slugging me on the arm for like 5 minutes and saying, "I'm the mayor of Fist City." I guess I was at my limit, you know. There was a lot to think about, and, well, I'm not proud of it, but I turned on him for a minute.
Buzz, goddammit. Why have to be such a giant dick?
I said, I'll show you, dick.
Neil said, big old dick. Tranquility Base, we're gonna need you to not leave graffiti on the surface of the moon. Why don't you come up there and do something better, cowboy? I'm king of the moon!
Yeah, King of the Moon, Mayor of Fist City. I don't know which one he really wanted to be called. I don't know how you can be a king and a mayor all at once, but I try to stay out of politics.
Honestly, if it had stopped there, I would have been happy.
I don't even know how he got that 30 rack of rolling rock up there. Ugh.
Oh, shit. Damn. Hell. Oh, tits.
After a while, I lost track of Buzz, which was probably for the best, but before I knew it, he comes out of the module again. I couldn't understand why he was back up there.
He still had to shit.
Yeah, it's true. All of it. And it's not even the worst part.
Came out carrying a bag of, human excrement, I guess.
He trips right onto the lunar surface.
Spilt my beer all over the moon floor. Place was dirty anyway.
But he's still got this bag, and he's like holding it out to keep it safe.
He goes 20, 25 yards out and sets to work on this bag. It's like he's on a mission, you know? Just not the mission he was actually there for.
Just open this bag and get the shit out of it onto the ground or something, but he can't because he's got these gloves on and the glow gravity there. It's just a mess.
So he grabs it by the other end, and he just starts to shake it back and forth, just trying to get it out of the bag.
Well, yeah, I mean, what was it supposed to do, right? I mean, I've been on RV trips before, you know. Sometimes you gotta shit bag it.
So he can't get it out, of course, and it splatters all over his helmet and the rest of his suit. He's squeezing the bag now, trying to get it out, but it gets all over the place. He throws the bag down and tries to stomp on it. I guess because he's frustrated.
He gave it the finger, but he got tripped up, I guess, and fell and landed face first in the bag and its contents.
Look, I spilt my damn beer again. Oh, crumbs.
He comes bouncing back up to me, just covered in feces and moon dust. I asked him, "What happened, Buzz? What the hell happened?" He ignored me and just said,
I bet you 30 bones I can whip this spacesuit off and haul ass back into the boat before my eyes bug out.
To be honest, I really thought about letting him try it.
As it came back around to pick the boys up, I was cautiously optimistic that Neil just left him. He didn't.
In fact, Had the whole world not been watching, I think Neo probably would have.
I bet you dollars to donuts you've had shit on your face a couple of times. Can we change the subject already? I've done more with my life than just go to the moon. Hot hand in a game of dice when we were first wife. Clarence and I, we raided a Mexican cementerio, looking for three crystal skulls. Never did find the third one. You want to hear about that, though? Yeah, I didn't think so.
With the moon mission objectives completed, the 3 brave Apollo 11 astronauts began their long journey home.
You know, I taught a monkey to smoke once.
The gallant crew of Apollo 11 had climbed once again upon the shoulders of legend. And like a group of spacefaring equestrians, they rode their celestial steed towards the warm bosoms of Mother Earth.
Psst. Hey, NASA. Are you there? It's me, Buzz. Go ahead, Buzz. Can you keep a secret? We're going out live here, Buzz. I was thinking, I don't like this eagle very much. It's on our patch. I don't trust them, you know. One of them made off about the head of guano when I was in the 6th grade. Sorry to hear that, Buzz, but that was decided a long time ago. Why can't we have it be a mongoose? Mission's almost over, buddy. A mongoose, now that is a strong animal. It's fast, it's deadly, sexy.
One time, me and Clarence, we were rocked at the zoo. I mean zooted, right? And I fell in the mongoose enclosure. And I think they must have smelled the ham steak leavings I had wrapped up in a handkerchief in my pocket. But anyway, the big one, the alpha, he latched onto my Johnson. Detached my urethra. Well, they had to shoot the mighty beast. The mongoose, not my Johnson. My Johnson's fine. Don't worry about that. But, we did have a funeral for him, and, we stuffed him, and he's above my waterbed betwixt my hi-fi speakers there, and we called him the Duke, because when he bit my dick, I shit.
Just 2 more days, and then I'd be home with my family, my kids, and as many miles as I could put between me and Buzz Aldrin.
You said that? I'm surprised Boner even remembers my middle name.
We were all excited to be headed back. Suffice to say, Buzz was getting under our skin.
Psst. Hey, NASA. Go ahead, Buzz. How's this machine work? What are you talking about, Buzz? How do I get this little to suck me off? I have no idea what you're talking about, Buzz. Well, come on now. I mean, you got the damn thing up here. You told me to stick my pecker in it, and the won't suck. Are you talking about the urinal hose, Buzz? Well, I don't know. I'm just trying to drain my almonds into something. I cannot find the button. Buzz, you're supposed to urinate in that, not try to fornicate with it. Fornicate? I ain't trying to marry it. Buzz, just stop putting your genitals in every orifice you see. Orifice? Genitalia? Fornicate? Goddamn, you a college boy or something? Yes, Buzz. I have a PhD in rocket science. Well, good. Why do you tell me how to stick my PhD in this here piss tube? PhD, pretty hard. We know, Buzz.
Yeah, that's how I got the clap.
The truth is, we cut off the feed and told people there was radiation interference. We even told Buzz that to try to shut him up. Wish I could say it worked.
Pretty good thing I brought my CB.
Hey, Ness, this here's rear entry. I got a reefer on. I've been thinking. You think we'll have this cheese wagon back by the evening, or should I pay the water bill up here? Mother's been pissing in my tube, and if he keeps it up, you're gonna have to call the meat wagon. Over.
We literally tried everything.
You have reached NASA. We are not available right now. please leave your message at the tone. Tone. Hey, NASA, look, it's me, Buzz. Before we left, I bet my biker buddy Clarence double or nothing I'd bring him back a Moon Man. Think you can help me out with that? I mean, I didn't see any up here, and believe me, I've been looking. Anyway, I was hoping, like, maybe you could have the boys scare one up in the lab. My number is,
Buzz, you're literally the first people on the moon, and we can't have the boys scaring up one in the lab.
Hey, NASA?
Yes, Buzz.
You think you could maybe see your way clear to a small loan in the sum of $30?
The Earth was getting pretty big in the window, and Mike and I were going over the re-entry procedures. Buzz floated over and in a rare moment of sincerity said, "What are your intentions with our planet?"
Just checking.
And Neil went on about how he wanted to hug his family and be a Boy Scout leader. And I said, I want to mount up for Apollo 12 and get off Earth and the f away from Buzz.
I said, I'm going to go down to the riverboat. I'm going to put triple dicks on mine. Eat myself a ham steak.
Prepare for re-entry. This is re-entry. We're coming in, hon. Over.
Shut the up, Buzz.
Hey, you know what, Boner? Listen, I've been meaning to talk to you about your attitude on this haul. Why you gotta be so hard on me, Boner? Wait, did I just say hard on and Boner in the same... Hey, Bruce! Hey, Bruce! Did you hear what I just... I said hard on... Oh, the tears, all right. Lord, I can't believe that just came out of my mouth.
And Neil just sat there. He did nothing.
The capsule splashed down July 24th, 1969, 812 nautical miles south of Hawaii at 12:49 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The valiant knights had returned victorious, and the prize was Mother Gia's admiration.
We didn't know what, if anything, they would have been exposed to up there, so we had to put them in decontamination for a couple of days.
And when we got there, Buzz is all like, you, that ain't nothing.
Nothing that was breathing.
President Nixon himself visited the returning astronauts to congratulate them all on a successful mission.
Buzz looks Nixon dead in the eye and says,
You know what I'm talking about. Locked in.
We now live in a world where man had walked on the moon, and though there were many differences that separated the team, they would always be bound together by adventure and accomplishment. Though life would take them in their own directions, they would always be the crew of Apollo 11.
Look, I had the experience of a lifetime, and I'm not trying to take away from that, but if I had to do it all over again, I'm honestly not sure what I would say.
No, I wouldn't do it again. And it's not because of the danger or the death and disease. It's spend another 8 days locked in a capsule with Buzz Aldrin. You could the hell right off.
Look, I ain't gonna lie at you. Times got tough for old Buzz. Drank away my NASA winnings. Threw a big-ass birthday bash ain't nobody come to. Yeah, we had Joe Camel giving out rides. Hell, Clarence, he even filled the shit digger's cart full of pies and surprise brisket. Ain't nobody there to eat it. So we froze it. We're still eating off it. I really bottomed out for a while after that. But you know, I'm doing a lot better now. I've been working on my autobiography. I'm gonna call it Buzz Aldrin's 10 Things to Fuck Up. I think it's gonna be a real hot ticket. Gotta pick one up at the newsstand when it's ready. I guess you could say, lately, everything's coming up nuggets for old Buzz.
Hey, where are you?
Oh shit, I thought they were gone another 2 weeks. Come on, boys, beat cheeks. Clarence!
Oh.
I think I like